Yeah, I'll make it 7 o'clock. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Planning Committee, and I hope you're all well. Right, the first item on the agenda is apologies for absence.
None received, Chair.
Okay. Oh, no, it's Councillor Crooks has just come, so we're fully staffed. Well, no, that's not the word, is it? Anyway, item 2 is declarations of pecuniary interest and request for dispensation. Anyone? No?
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
I know the owner on one of the applications, but I don't even think you're discussing it tonight. But Hazel Stubb.
Oh, right. Yeah, we will discuss a little bit of it. You know, so, even though we haven't got all the information, but we'll go on to that. Okay. Thank you. Right, item 3, which is minutes from the previous meeting, to approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 6th of April 2021. Can I have a proposer, please? And the seconder? Proposer, Councillor Davison. Secretary is Councillor Liz Smith. All those in favour, please show. Okay, thank you. Page 197. Are you okay? Do you want these up, these minutes? You're okay with them, aren't you? Yeah? Right, okay. Page 198. With Vicky on the P21063 to invite a representative from Red Road to Planning Committee meeting to give an update.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Page 199, which is blank. Page 200. Page 201. Okay, which couple of them we've got on tonight. Thank you for that. Next one is item 4. Oh, matters, I've just done that, matters arising. Item 5, which is proposal for EE Limited and Hutchinson 3G UK Limited to consider proposed additions to upgrade mobile base station. Reference email circulated on the 20th of April 21. Is there any comments on that at all? Councillor Carini?
I've already gone back to them as the ward member, but in terms of this committee, I think we should be welcoming any investment in our infrastructure. I can't see they're doing anything that's detrimental.
Okay. Is everyone in agreement to that? Yeah. Do we need a vote on that, Vicky? Yeah. Can I have a proposer then, please, for that? Councillor Carini, propose. Can I have a seconder for that, please? I'll second it. All those in favour, please show. Okay, carried. Thank you. Item 6, is there any members of the public, Vicky, speak?
I haven't heard from anything, but we have got somebody in the.
Yeah, we've got Brad. Hello, Brad. Good evening, Brad. Can you answer us? Brad? Brad, you're muted. Can you unmute? And your TV, your camera's not on either. Brad? Brad, can you hear me? If you're
somebody just listening to the meeting, Chair.
Sorry.
It may be somebody just wishing to listen to the meeting or isn't able to work their system.
Right.
I can't help them really, because if I move them out, then they won't be able to come back in again. It is a public meeting.
Right, okay. If you are having problems, Brad, you can you log out and then come back in? Yeah, you can log out and then come back in again. It's a pity because that was your chance to speak. Hopefully you just want to listen. So, right, okay. Item 6, to consider planning application to West Suffolk Council. I will invite members of the public. So, Brad, if you want to speak before any item that comes up, you'll have to unmute yourself and what have you, or introduce yourself as well. Okay. Item 7, which is list A, which Vicky and I approved under delegated powers. These were plans to amend. Oh, he's dropped out. These plans to amend, but couldn't get extension. The only difference, this is my note, so bear with me. Right, these plan that we approved, we as a council, town council, were neutral on it, and they wanted to have approval for, because hip on a roof was to be added, which was hardly any difference to it. So me and Vicky decided to remain neutral on it, as we were with the council, the town council. Okay. Right, list B, which is DC 210315 FUL, deferred from previous meeting. Specialist Dementia Care Village for 120 residents, including 26 bedroom apartments, provided with 5 buildings, central amenity building containing shop, restaurant, pub, communal hall, offices and staff accommodation, a club and hobby rooms, treatment and counselling rooms, vehicle and cycle parking, landscaping proposal and associated works, 65 parking spaces, of which 6 are wide and 25 are electric chargers. This is Little Court, Haverhill Road, Little Ratting. Right, is there any comments on that, please? No? No? Oh, Councillor Liz Smith?
That I think in an area where it was really a rural area, wasn't it? A rural area. We didn't want any expansion into that. I'm still apprehensive about that development in that area, and the fact that it's being proposed a dementia village, so an exceptional circumstance as such to be put in that area. I think that's not really a good enough reason. And as we heard before, I think it is perhaps not a dementia village as we're seeing them in other countries that have been developed. Where was it? Norway? Holland, or Netherlands, sorry. So it's not really heading down that road that we really wanted, that we would have liked perhaps in its description. And I don't think that's a good enough reason to sort of put the development in a countryside area.
If this helps, on there we've had objections from 3 over Old Haverhill Road, where the person says not enough parking spaces, will have cars parking near their property. The A143 is a 60-mile-an-hour road, bad visibility on the brow of the hill, and there's no resident safety near the main road. In other words, the residents might, so it will go into the main road. Mrs. Shorthouse from Pembroke College, it's a nesting area for swallows in stables, damaging the ecosystem by taking old hedging and established trees away. The site should be on a brownfield site. Again, A143 busy road on the brow of the hill, report visibility. Highways are saying they're holding objection on highway safety. Parking spaces should be 55 for the staff and 40 for visitors, which is 95 spaces instead of 65. The visitors will also include medical and social and obviously family visitors. So that's why they need 55 spaces, I should say. They're recommending also that there's speculation from the little court. There's speculation, the people that own it or going to own it, on improving bus services from the Great Wilsley Park. In other words, they're saying that there mostly will be bus service going around the Great Wilsley Park. But the highways are saying that's speculation. Highways have highlighted that it needed bus stop with a raised curb right near the centre or the village. There's no cycle path or footway to Haverhill, and the proposed access is unacceptable. They're saying about the access as well. Right, is there any other comments at all? Councillor Brown?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I would agree with the neighbours' comments around the highways issues. Definitely agree with Suffolk County Council highways officers and the holding comments that they've made. There isn't enough parking spaces. Little court is up on top of the hill. It's very unlikely, that people will be walking there, or not many. As I say, there's the existing cycle ways are not there. Buses, it's all speculation. It doesn't seem to formulate any real proven possibility of links to it. It's somewhere that's in the countryside at the moment. It isn't in the local plan to be built on. I've got severe reservations about the whole project, to be fair.
Thank you for that, Councillor Brown, especially the part where it's not in the local plan, completely outside it. Councillor Burns?
Yeah, so I'm just putting my office light on, it's gone dark. Very speculative, as you rightly said, Chair, is the bus service. There is no planned bus service for Great Wilsley at the moment. There's obviously bus stops. Obviously, if we want a bus service, that's not that. But there is, talking to the major players, They have no plans at the moment to put bus service in there. They have got no plans to change the frequency of the bus service at the 13 that goes up to Kennington, or the 14 or 15 that goes up to Bury. The things like the links, the cycle and pedestrian links, I know the Great Willesey developers are not very happy, because it looks like the developers of this site are assuming that the developers of Great Willesey, Redrow, will pay for all the cycle and pedestrian links to their new development up there. Quite rightly, all the highway stuff, I think in fact many ways highways have underestimated the problems up there. I don't know whether it's materialistic or not, but I would also talk about the loss of amenities and jobs with the loss of the riding school that's up there. I know there may not be that many jobs, but as an amenity to the local population, it's very well received up there. In many ways, it's speculative as well, because they don't really know the demand. As I mentioned last time, and it's on, if you've looked on my website, you'll see the document that was originally up on the planning portal with supposedly all these people supporting this application, and that's why it's been removed, because it's in my view it's a fallacy, because I was included on it as well. I think it's overbearing. It's in the countryside, as has been mentioned. It's a dementia care home, primarily right next door to a major road. And from the plans, I couldn't really see anything that would stop people wandering out of the village onto the road. And we know what happens with sadly those people with dementia is that's what they do. So yeah, I mean, I have a major problem with it personally at the moment, and certainly the parking. I mean, it's ridiculous. Try and get away with as little as parking as possible. 160 beds or whatever it's going to be is, if it's dementia care, potentially every one of those will want 24/7 care. So anyway, that's my view. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, bearing in mind as well, I just don't know how many dementia people's homes we've got around Haverhill, really. Obviously, there's one hope that there's another one with planning permission, but obviously we can't speculate whether that's going to be built or not. But as I say, we've got quite a few, but I don't know if that would be material to the planning application. Right, anyone else? Councillor Crooks?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is very difficult. I'm quite torn on this one. As we know, Broadlands Hall had development, and there was no objections when Broadlands Hall expanded. And this is fairly next door. My instinct, if I'm going by my instinct, I think it's the development is too large. The sound of 120 residents to me sounds scary. If the development was for a home of 30 to 40 residents, I would feel that would suit that area a lot better. That actual space. Also, it's got to remember that if you look at the Redrow development, the Willesey development, there's a big semicircle there, isn't there, to actually protect that part of Little Rattin. When you actually look at the Redrow development, there's a huge semicircle specifically to protect that part of Little Rattin. Also, but if there was actual medical professionals that were writing in support of this application, I'd be more swayed. Being a layman, I really, it's really hard to judge. But if there was professionals telling us, yes, we do need this, yes, it will work, it will be a good asset to Haverhill, I would be swayed. But the sheer size of it at the moment, I feel it's overdevelopment. But but I could easily be persuaded to go for it, because I've spoken to residents when I'm out and about working, and there are a lot of Haverhill residents that do want this, and they will find it hard to understand why we don't. So we've got to be very clear. If we're telling Haverhill residents that we don't want this, we've got to be clear on the reasons why. But my instinct is, if it was half the size, I think it would suit, it would work. But the sheer size of 120 residents is what I have difficulty with. If it was a smaller home, I think it could work better. But I'm really on the edge on this one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. Right, Councillor Burns.
Yeah, thanks for letting me come back. A couple of things just to follow up on Councillor Crooks there. You know, we fought long and hard to protect that green belt, if you want to call it that, between Keddington, the A143 on the northern side of the Great Wheelsley, over the last, I don't know, 20 odd years that I've been involved in it. And yeah, it's one reason why the master plan and the outline is quite vociferous in the fact it's going to plant lots of extra trees to protect that area. The other thing is, I think, as Councillor Crooks also says, the original plans that I saw, not for this site, for another site, was 30 beds. That was it. Suddenly to become 3-4 times as many beds in a site like this, just because it's convenient. And the documents I've read, I can't see, as Councillor Crooks also says, I can't see any, major support from any medical people. That's why I went to planning originally when that document went up online. I said, look, I know really nothing about dementia. I've never had to deal with anybody or anything like that. But to say that I'm fully supportive of the project and its cause, I have great problems with. And there's a lot of people on that list who names have been taken in vain, including other councillors, which I was really upset about on that. And if it had been in its original location, I would have perhaps had more sympathy with it, because basically that is a brownfield site in town. This is actually in a countryside area, and that's why I have a major problem with that, is doing that. Because the trouble is, you do that, the next thing you know, there'll be people asking to put houses alongside it and all this sort of stuff. And then Keddington and Little Ratting can't fight for themselves. They don't have a parish council. So they have to wait for Keddington and us to help them out a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, Vicky, have you got all that?
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Can I have a proposer then on all the things that we've been talking about for whatever, whether you object or neutral or what? Councillor Brown? Then
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to propose that we object for the reasons mentioned, mainly highways issues, and the actual site isn't in the local plan; it's in the countryside. I absolutely believe that we do need more dementia care provision in the town, but I just personally don't think it's in the right place. I propose that we object for the reasons outlined that other councillors have mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's been emphasised it's too big as well. Yeah. Councillor Smith, you second it?
Yeah, I'm just seconding that, exactly what Tony said. Thank you.
Right, okay. All those in favour then, please show. Any against? Okay, right, it's carried. Thank you very much. Item 2. Oh, no, sorry, item 3. DC 210473 VAR. This is Hazel Stubbs. This has been deferred, and you got an email earlier where there's only you know, it's the same. The reason why we deferred it because there wasn't enough documents, and it looks like that hasn't materialised. So I don't know what to do really. I say this. Let me carry on. It's a retention of a mixed-use office and storage use without compliance with condition 1, which said the site and the building thereon shall be used for assembly of parts of exhibition display panels with ancillary hire of completed display panels and for no other purpose than Class B1, which is business, and for Class B8 storage and distribution, and for no other purpose. And that's what they want to get rid of. So Vicky, do we wait for more documents on this? Because this is why we deferred it, is because of there's only 2 documents.
That was why I sent the email earlier. So they are questioning the applicant themselves, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, I'm guessing we defer it again until we hear back from, was it Savannah?
Yeah, Savannah, yeah.
That she's fully aware that we're waiting on further documents.
Yeah.
I think they are too. So.
Are we in agreement with that then, everyone, that we defer it again then? Yeah, can you give us a nod? Give me a nod, or let's say that, is there any objections to that at all? No? Right, okay, we could defer that one then. Thank you. Right, item 4, which is DC 21 0609 HH. Relocate window to front elevation 1 Yeldham Place on Chalkston. Any comments on this? Councillor Dave Smith?
It looks like they're just enlarging the bathroom and reconfiguring the windows to sort of reflect that. Other than that, I can't see any changes. So
yeah, and they're saying they want it's a very large window for the bedroom, and they want more privacy, so they want to make it smaller, but put that enlarged window in the stairwell. So, which makes sense, to be honest. I suppose it's the look of it that people are worried about, maybe. But any objections to that? Are we neutral for that? Can I propose it then for neutral? Councillor Bruce Davison and Councillor Liz Smith. Or was it Dave Smith? Sorry, Dave, I'll keep getting mixed up with the hands. Councillor Dave Smith, okay. All those in favour, please show. Yep, okay. Item 5, which is DC 21 0625 HH, Homecroft, Burton End. Small A, 2-storey extension to west elevation. Small B, 1st floor extension to east elevation. Small C, dormer to front elevation with 2 Juliet balconies. Small D, dormer to rear elevation with 1 Juliet balcony. I know it's was a 5-bedroom bungalow, or whatever they call it. I think it's a bungalow type thing. And they're cutting it down to 4 bedrooms. So is there any comments on that? Councillor Crooks?
Objection. The design, I'm just horrified by the design. I just cannot believe I was actually looking at such a thing. It is absolutely appalling. I cannot see how on earth that can sit on them row of bungalows. It is absolutely hideous. So I propose objection on design grounds.
Okay. Is there any other comments on this at all? No? Right, do we have a second of the Councillor Crook's objection? No? Okay. Should we have a neutral then? Will we have a proposer for neutral on this, please? Right. Councillor Liz Smith, and I second Councillor Liz Smith. Right, all those in favour of neutral?
You abstain.
Any against? One against, right. 5, but 1 against and 1 abstention. Thank you for that. That's carried. Item 6, which is DC 21-0663 FUL, the bungalow, Crowland Road. This is for 4 dwellings and associated works, access and landscaping. So is there any comments on that, please, Councillor Cooney?
Yeah, I think it's overdevelopment of the site. 4 properties, I think it's far too many. It's not that big a site. The 2 at the front are a little odd because they don't really appear to have back gardens. The front garden seems to be the back garden and it's not enclosed or private by the looks of things, which is not overly nice. Slightly disappointed anyway, because obviously there was a bungalow that stood on this site and they've already knocked it down. So the site's not in a great shape, which is, it's a hard one now.
Okay, Councillor, thank you. Councillor Davison?
Whilst
Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Chair. Whilst I basically agree with Councillor Lucarini, sorry, I noticed that this was approved 10 years ago for 6 houses. They've obviously backtracked. Things, I guess, have changed in the last 10 years. I had a look at the site, and yes, Aaron's correct. The 2 houses at the front appear to have, the front gardens are basically the back gardens, and what would be their back gardens is basically the courtyard for all the parking. There is parking for 9 vehicles, which appears to be 2 vehicles per house, so that's 8, plus a quarter space for the houses for visitors, which I thought was a bit weird. So that's the bit that's worrying me, because I can see straight away that as soon as someone has more than 2 cars or someone has more than 1 visitor, then there's going to be an issue with the parking on the street. On Crowland is already, as we all know, is incredibly tight. And at the moment where the cars are going to come in, I went round there on yesterday, and there's obviously going to be a drop curb, and people are already parking where the drop curb is going to be. So that's going to take away 1 or 2 spaces that are already being currently used. So yeah, I think you can get the 4 houses into the site, but maybe it is a little bit overdeveloped, although, as I say, 10 years ago, it was approved for 6. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. Councillor Liz Smith?
Yeah, I totally agree with Bruce and Aaron. Sorry, Councillor Davison, Councillor Luke. The site does seem overdevelopment with the number of properties they're putting in there, and again the gardens do seem rather strange and a bit small. The parking is a big issue from the comments from the neighbours. There's also said they are concerned about the parking, and that's going to be removed really along that road, that bit where there's the drop curb as Councillor Davison says. So I think on the basis of the parking and the overdevelopment, I think we should object.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Councillor Burns?
Yeah, I think the parking was the issue I picked up on. Councillor Davison quite correctly says, 2 per vehicle. You cannot, under Suffolk planning rules, have a quarter of a parking space. It has to be at least 1 parking space, if not more, of course. And we also got to remember the parking standards are minimum standards, not maximum standards. Yeah, we all know about Crowland Road and Downs Crescent and all that sort of stuff. And I just want to point out that what happened 10 plus 11 years ago in planning law is irrelevant. Every application is on its own merit. If there was, if there's a planning application for 100 houses on the site before, they only want to put 4 now. Great, but that would be the case. So just to clarify that. But yeah, I think the primary thing is overdevelopment of the site. You could get away with 3 on there, have some decent gardens. People are going to be living in these houses for a long time. I couldn't work out exactly the space standards side of things.
Yeah.
Again, there are some documents that sort of show it, but not really explaining how big each bedroom is or anything like that. I do hate these cluttered drawings where they put layer upon layer on a CAD system. Just confuse you with everything. So yeah, it's my personal view. I think it's overdevelopment and the parking issues.
Yeah, we haven't had any word from environmental from housing, have we, or what they call
Public health and housing.
Public health and housing. That's it. We haven't had anything from them. Councillor Crooks.
Yeah, this is quite a close one. Plots 1 and 2, which are on actual Crowland Road, I think they work. Plots 1 and 2, I haven't got a problem with plots 1 and 2. I think that they will enhance the street scene. They do actually work. Those first 2 plots. The problem I have is plots 3 and 4. So which does creep into the overdevelopment. As Councillor Burns said, 3 properties probably definitely would work. So I feel the developer is almost there with plots 1 and 2, but it's 3 and 4 I have a problem with. So I'm happy to go with the committee. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? No. Right. Can we have Vicky? You got them? All them noted? All them things? Yeah. Right. Can we have a proposer for objection then, with all the things been spoken? Councillor Ukraini propose. Can we have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Liz Smith. All those in favour, please show. Right. Thank you. The next one is item 7, which is DC 21 0676 FUL. This is 36 High Street, which is near to Greg's, is it? Where the betting shop was? Is it somewhere there? Or am I wrong? This is change of use from financial services, Class E, to hot food takeaway. Small B, which is external extraction and ventilation system to the rear. Small C, redecoration of shop frontage.
Underneath the AXA building.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where Greg's is, isn't it?
Yeah, in between the bookies and Sabres.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Thank you for that. Right. Is there anyone any comment at all on this one? Councillor Crooks? You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I propose neutral, Chair. That particular shop has been empty a decade. You know, that I think it's been occupied once or twice in the decade, but for a whole 10 years it's been empty. So I welcome them going in there, and I think it will definitely help. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Ukraini?
I'm happy to second that.
Right.
I think it's a welcome addition to our town centre. Like Jason says, the shop's been empty for a really long time now. The only thing I would like to see us add in the comments is that they have to use the rear for deliveries. I don't think it'd be right if they expect access to the front of the shop throughout the day, especially considering Saturdays the road is shut for the market in normal times.
Yeah, very good point, actually. Yeah. Okay, Councillor Davison?
Yeah, a
then
couple of
Councillor
other
Burns?
things. Sorry?
Sorry, I was just saying then Councillor Burns. Sorry, Councillor Davison.
That's all right. Thank you, Chair. In agreement with basically what's already been said, just two minor little points. In the well-written presentation, obviously they employed very expensive consultants. There isn't 3 takeaways nearby. There's actually 4. They've conveniently forgotten Route 66, which, believe it or not, has just installed quite recently pizza. So they're also a pizza place, and this is what this Papa John's will be doing. So we've already then have 4 pizza places in town. I'm a bit concerned about the fact that we will have a lot more takeaway places. And also they're saying that the public, when they come to get their takeaways, will obviously use the car parks. Well, I think we all know that's a fallacy. They'll be coming obviously after 4 o'clock and they'll be parking on double yellow lines. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Councillor Burns?
Yeah.
Burns?
Well, you'd have probably already seen the comments I put online anyway. I am very concerned about the ventilation system for the building. They're going to be putting a scrubbing unit in, but based on my asking somebody else about those things who've got great experience of them, they're designed to go into the open atmosphere, not into a basically an enclosed area out the back underneath the AXA building. I personally have a great problem about yet another takeaway, as has been said. It's not a restaurant, it's a takeaway. I'm also particularly annoyed that this building has been owned for 2 years by West Suffolk Council, and they've made no attempt at all to market this building. There's been 2 other businesses that I know of that tried to get, local businesses that tried to take it over, and they never actually got beyond the estate agents, because one of them was offered an incentive of a £500 a year rent reduction on the £23,000 a year, which was ridiculous. So I'm really annoyed about that, because our growth team in West Suffolk didn't know anything about it, didn't know about Papa John's coming in. Nobody from our property group had bothered telling them or anything like that. They should have incentivized local businesses to come in, but got another takeaway. It has been said the application form and the documents have obviously been written by somebody based in Bristol, which sounds like they've never ever been to the town. The application form is full of errors, things like, will there be any trade waste? No. But then they go on to describe how the trade waste is going to be taken away. They don't describe how the deliveries are going to be made, as Councillor Lucarini says. They're not going to be able to deliver to the front of the buildings between 10 and 4. They're not going to be able to park on the pavement as other vehicles do. And they're not going to be able to deliver to the rear because they ain't going to get a vehicle in behind the building. So I'm not certain how they think. I suspect our property department have basically not told them any of these problems. But it's all written down in my thing. I don't have a problem with the business coming in. I do not believe for one instance that it's going to employ 20 full-time staff. Best one in the world, a takeaway shop on that kind of rationale would never employ 20 full-time staff. So I think what they've done is they've used a basic template that they've used elsewhere and just said, this is what we're going to do in Haverhill, and not really understood Haverhill at all. So that's my view of it. Great to have some jobs, but I don't believe anything that the applicant has said. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dave Smith.
Thank you. Just a bit of clarification, really. I understand there was a planning application across the road in the old job centre for a Wimpy. I think that was been improved as well. So again, it's not 3, 4. It's probably more takeaways. And I believe there was a plan also rejected for another eatery, the opposite side of the road to that. So yes, we welcome the business, but we get into a state now where it is basically a high street full of takeaways. So is another takeaway sustainable?
Can I, before I come to you, Councillor Brown, can the committee help me? Do they do deliveries? They do, because that's another thing you've got to think of. You know, have they got? Will they be doing that from the rear? And you know, hopefully they will. Right, Councillor Brown, and then Councillor Stinchcombe.
Yeah, I would like to support, yeah, what Jason said. Really, is that you know, that shop has been empty for a long time, as well as others in that, you know, vicinity. Yeah, they obviously, you know, they know their business model, they know their, you know, clientele. You know, I think, and it's quite quiet at the end of the town. So, you know, I think it, you know, maybe not the perfect business, but it's, you know, business that's willing to invest in the town and bring jobs in the current climate. Yeah, I personally would, you know, welcome it.
Thank you. Councillor Davison? Have I lost that? There was something else. Councillor Crook, who was it? Oh, Councillor Sixham, sorry. And then Councillor Creaney.
Thank you, Chair. I was just going to suggest that possibly they get the head count up to, well, the full-time job count up to 20 by including delivery staff. I can't see you can cram 20 staff in the premises, but you could have some good proportion of that in the premises and then a crew, you know, that again, it's hard to see how it could total 20, but I'm guessing that it would be delivery staff working out of the site as much as people working on site. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Creaney?
Just to come back to you, Pat, on the deliveries, it does say in their plan about the delivery drivers will use the rear car park. Right. That's why I think we just need to make sure as a town council we just highlight that in our comments that that should be the place where they do their deliveries from.
Right. Okay. Councillor Crooks?
Yeah, if you've ever been to Domino's Pizza at Brybank, you can well imagine how they can get to 20. You know, you just look in that shop window and see how many people are working in Domino's, and the delivery drivers that are coming back and forth like bees to a nest. You've got to remember the Royal Exchange that shuts at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock in the morning on Fridays and Saturdays. You've got Bar Vue, they shut at what, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at the weekends. You know, it can be a nice little busy area of the town. So yeah, it will do well. It will do well.
Thank you. Councillor Davison?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think Councillor Brown alluded to the fact that that part of town is quite quiet. I would dispute that. Certainly on a Friday night, it's takeaway chaos there. And as Councillor Dave Smith obviously mentioned, there will be more takeaways in that part of town. I personally want a business like Papa John's to come to town, but I think the location is wrong. I mean, somewhere like Frankie and Benny's would be perhaps better suited to them, but maybe it's too big. But parking in the high street is going to happen with the delivery drivers, with the people that are coming for their takeaways. It's going to be even more chaotic. And unless we've got enforcement there, certainly at sort of 6 o'clock on a Friday evening, it's an accident waiting to happen. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor O'Kearney?
I don't think we can blame a business for their customers breaking the law. I think that's up to us as district councillors to make sure that CPE is working and effective.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, you can always phone up, can't you, the CPE, and they are very good. What I've been told, they're very good. Once you phone them up, they're there in a few hours. Well, this is what I've been told, that over the Parkway, for instance, that's what's happened over the Parkway. So I've been told. They was very pleased. Councillor Burns is saying differently on that. But right, okay, we've had a proposal then.
Sorry, can I just interrupt, just to talk about the parking and deliveries? I understand what CPE doesn't go on beyond 8 o'clock at night. So we've got all that other problem.
Oh yeah, of course.
Remembering that. But more importantly, nowhere in their documentation does it describe how people are going to get their delivery, other than the fact that delivery drivers may use the car park out the back. Well, we all know that the other delivery drivers around town don't use the car parks. They all park illegally, they park on double lines and everything else. So I don't think this will be any difference, because they will be using probably the same delivery companies that we're using already in town. You know, people like Deliveroo and the other one, can't think of what it's called. You know, they're already taking over a lot of the delivery things. And a lot of these people are not local people. They're coming in from sometimes 2-hour drive away. You might be saying they're given a job, but they're not necessarily to locals. That's, you know, I'm not happy with the documentation is what I've got a problem with, especially on the ventilation. We seem to be ignoring the ventilation side of things underneath the AXA building. And I suspect property have not bothered with it either in West Suffolk. And I'm waiting for a phone call back from them. I've been waiting a week since last Thursday from them to ask them what they're doing about this. So thank you. Yeah,
I think we can put your comment, Councillor Burns, in with the other comments. I'm just wondering if would that be a planning condition as far as parking at the back? Would planning be able to put that as a condition? Vicky, would you help me out on this one? Do you know?
I don't know, but I can put it in.
Right. Just wondered if West Suffolk could add that as a condition if they say okay to it.
Sorry, Pat, they can't put it as a condition and planning. What they can do is advise the applicant of the restrictions on parking.
Right.
That's not what's happened.
That's not a condition, is it?
I suspect nobody in property knows anything about CPE and hasn't bothered, and they certainly haven't discussed it with anybody in the growth team who do know about CPE. So that's what I've got a problem with. It's certainly a disconnect at West Suffolk who have come along. You know, as I said, there were several people interested in this building, including the town council, and it's been, you know, let to the highest bidder, basically. You know, and that's something that we are trying to understand why it is that West Suffolk won't work together amongst themselves to get the best possible thing for our town. You know, we got Jamie's meeting who tried to get that building and were flummoxed at everything. That's why they went into the building they're in now, because it took them 18 months of not getting anywhere. So, you know, there is a demand, but not necessarily a demand at the rate that was being charged by the previous landlord before the council bought it. When we all agreed to the council buying that building, we all assumed that they'd work hard to get decent businesses in town that will draw people into our town for things that they need to buy. That's my personal view. You know, a lot of that's not planning, but it's the background to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, right. We've had a proposal from Councillor Ukraini, or was it Councillor Crooks? Councillor Crooks, yeah, for neutral, and seconded by Councillor Ukraini for neutral, plus with the comments. All those in favour, please show. Right, it's everyone. Thank you very much. Item 8, which is DC 210403 ADV, land northeast Haverhill, Willesey Road, Little Rattin, 43 flagpole signs, red row homes. I think they're already up, aren't they? Councillor Burns?
Well, they've been up for about 18 months.
Oh, this is retrospective then.
You know, yeah, it is. No, it is definitely retrospective. I was told that. From my personal view, I live dead opposite them. I don't have a problem with them. You know, they fly in the wind. You could argue there's a lot of them, but having said that, it's a massive site. spread over that distance is not particularly, very high. But that's my personal view anyway. And obviously they'll come down as houses are built.
Yeah. Councillor Crooks?
I won't object, but I can't stand them. I think it's completely over the top having that amount of flags. It looks absolutely ridiculous. But as I say, I wouldn't object, but I think it's absolutely madness. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. They're over the top. We've had another builder that used to do that as well, didn't we? In Haverhill. Persimmon don't do it, funny enough. But right, okay.
Down at Tudor Croft, Pat.
Tudor Croft, that's it.
Yeah, Bloor Homes, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Can I have a proposer then for neutral on this one? By the sound of it, it is neutral. Councillor Davison, proposed. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Dave Smith. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. And item 8. Oh, sorry, item 9. Item 9, last but not least. DC 21-0708 HH, 18 Howard Close. Conversion of a garage to habitable space. For this is a 3-bedroom house, by the way, if no one I've looked it out. And obviously this has got no on-street parking, but bear that in mind. But I don't know I think Councillor Davison, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, they're not adding in any bedrooms, or it doesn't appear to be the case. They've got sufficient driveway, so there's not going to be any issue with parking, even if they do turn that room into a bedroom. So I would say neutral on this one.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that on Google, that there's plenty of parking space out front. I noticed the drive is, looking on there, the parking is not very good on there. Those sort of cars are parked all on the grass and everywhere. I'm not talking about on that particular property, but around that area. But that property, it seems fine to me. Right, is there any other comments on that at all? No? Right, can I have a proposer for neutral then, please? Councillor Dave Smith?
I think I'm seconding. I think Councillor Davison already proposed.
Oh, sorry, I apologise. Councillor Dave,
I'm seconding.
Proposed by Councillor Bruce Davison and seconded by Councillor Dave Smith. All those in favour, please show. Okay, thank you for that. Right, item 8, which is matters to report to enable members to exchange any urgent planning matters. Anyone? No? Right, thank you very much. Right, thank you everyone. The date of next meeting, which is obviously changed from the 4th, is now the 25th of May. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for attending. And good evening. Colin, can we stop the recording, please?